Man, it's been forever since we talked on on a live show, in a live format, in person, all the above.
I know it doesn't feel right. I mean, between holidays and just it seems like we took a little break here during the frigid month of December just to recharge and rejuvenate. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, it got cold very quickly. I mean,
yeah, we went straight from, it seemed, summer to fall, and then bam, here's winter.
I mean, at one point there was an Indian summer, I think, and and next thing you know, last week. Wait, was it last week or was it this week? Winter solstice.
Yes.
Heard a lot about that.
That was 1 week ago. That was the shortest day of the year, the first day of winter, and at least now the days start to get longer.
Right. So there's that going on. Next thing you know, I think there was a tweet this morning about, with us being in the Northeast, about global warming or the lack of global warming from from the president.
Yeah. He doesn't believe in climate change. Not at all. I mean, we are here, like you say, with single-digit temperatures. But of course, there are other areas in the country that are way over their normal temperatures. But no, there's no such thing as climate change. Not at all. Nope.
Yeah, that's the deal with him. He's very different individual that I say the least. A few more years with this gentleman. Some people will say less. But I know at least we're going to have the next calendar year where we're looking at him, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. But other than that, the Christmas break, how was your break?
The break was good, Ted. It didn't, my kids are getting older, so it's no longer about having the tree with a gazillion little boxes for them to rip into come Christmas morning. I mean, it loses a little bit of the magic because when you have the smaller kids in the house and it's more excitement, they really look forward to it, and it just turns it into an event. But when they're older, it's like, okay, get them the one that big thing that they want, or money, whichever the case may be, and you just keep it moving. But it's nice. We get the family around. We had to get together at the house, so there were friends and family from all around for the day. It turned into a festive occasion. How was yours?
It was all right. It's different because the kids are now getting older. But the question is, that I have for you is, did you put up lights, or are you using those new hokey lights that you see, like as seen on TV, that we're using over here?
Oh, you mean the projector LEDs all over the house? Is that
yes.
what you're talking about?
Yes. Yes, the cheesy LEDs. You can buy it for like $30, $40.
There were lights in abundance. Linda is the big one for the lights all over the house. No, there were strings of lights in the front of the house, in the tree in front of the house, and the Christmas trees in the living room, and the bushes. There were lights all over. Real standard traditional lights.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, I do like those projector lights as well. I like those.
The only thing we did, we put the lights on outside. I can't remember turning on the lights for the Christmas tree.
Okay.
I really can't.
We don't do one big tree. We've just got like a little tree in every room, and then like two in the living room. Little 2-foot, 3-foot trees. So they put the lights on those.
Oh, okay.
And obviously not real trees.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that over the years. The lack of a real tree, artificial versus a real tree. That's always interesting because, for people like me, it's like, the shedding and everything else that happens, and you're like, I'm done with this.
Right, yeah, I know. I don't want that cleanup. I know she doesn't want that cleanup. And she's always really nervous about real trees because, there's more fire hazard with them, especially if you have the lights on them, the pines and everything getting dried, so it's like, do the artificial. Looks nice enough, same feel. Let's work.
I'm kind of nervous to the point where, Rich, I don't even want the lights being left on all night long.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't do that either. No way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a problem with that. I don't like the lights left on all night long. I don't even like the LED lights left on outside all night long.
Well, those, you don't really have to worry about those. It's low voltage. There's not much going on there. And, like you said, the LEDs, if they crack, it's not like there's a burning filament in there. But I understand what you're saying. Also, you got the electric bill to take into consideration.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Hey, I did go and see the Nets and Pacers.
At the Barclays?
At the Barclays. I went to go see that. Stayed a very short while. Was in and out of there. I don't know about you, I missed the WWE Christmas show at the Coliseum.
Wait, Ted, you are Mr. WWE. How did you
I missed it. I was sitting here looking at it and saying, oh, this has to be this weekend. Guess what? It wasn't. Or, I think it's to the point where we haven't been to work in such a long time, you lose
track of the days. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel? Like, I'm totally rested.
I'm pretty much there. Like I said, we had a lot going on at the beginning of the break for that, getting the house together and just, doing it for the 20, 30 people that were here.
Right,
but
right.
Now it's like, okay, I'm relaxed. Yeah, I'm getting to sleep late. No problem. Nothing crazy going on around the house. Yeah, we still got a few more days of this, so I'll be fully rejuvenated come Tuesday.
I got to tell you that number one, we had to the cold weather. I was kind of unsure because we are the ultimate house of, you go into the boiler room, everything that you're not supposed to see around there on the floor is there.
Right.
The comforters are sitting on the pipes, and for like a day before it really got cold, the heat didn't come on.
Oh.
So I was tinkering around with it, and I had someone come by, and they just showed me. They said, oh, you got to take these comforters. It's like, 4 or 5 comforters. And it was kind of somehow, I don't even know how to explain this to you, wasn't allowing the pipes to get warm. Things were just kind of there. Things were kind of there.
That's weird.
Yeah.
The comforters around the pipes, around the boiler. I can see if it was like over a thermostat, then sure, insulating the thermostat so it couldn't get cold enough.
It was also by the thermostat, that motor, that small motor that just kind of...
Circulator.
Yes. That was totally obstructed, and I had to explain that to the family once again, and had to pay a charge for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, there's no problems, luckily, but this is the problem, and you guys got to stop.
Right.
Live
and learn. It's like you almost have to get some of that yellow warning paint and spray paint the box around the boiler and say nothing can fall within this zone.
Someone was telling me also maybe, and I didn't agree with them. They were saying maybe put sheetrock around it, the higher sections of it.
Well, no, sure you could. You have a limit of how much space you have to keep around it in general.
Right.
If it's in a wide open room, then put a sheetrock divider or something like that, maybe. But no, I don't think you should have to go for all that. You tell them you don't hang anything off in the pipes above it. Don't put anything on the ground close to it, and that's it.
Okay. So
now I forget. You have oil heat or you they
Get
spoil
gassed.
or gas. That also changes things. That might have had something to do with it too, then, because I'm oil, so there's the technology is a little different in how the device works. It wouldn't be quite as easy to keep it from running with something laying over it. But with gas, it's looking at oxygen sensors and it's making sure that it can pull in the right amount. And if something's blocking one spot, then it might shut down before it can really get going because it's not detecting the burn properly. There's a whole bunch of things that go along with that. So I could see that.
Yeah, so that was something that was going on last weekend. I don't know. On top of it, there was a question or two I had wanted to get with you. There was a couple of things. Number one, if we had the time to talk about The Last Jedi, I don't know if you got the chance to see it.
I had the chance to see it.
Your thoughts on it?
Well, all right. So we have to. This is going to be a spoiler review. If you haven't seen it by now, I'm sorry. It's been what, 2 weeks now?
Right.
Yeah, the 15th. Yeah, we're 2 weeks in exactly. So all bets are off now. I enjoyed it. I have to see it again. I tried to see it again last night with taking my wife, taking Linda, but it was still sold out. And this was, on a Thursday night, it was sold out. So that's a good sign. But as far as the movie itself, I enjoyed it. I think there are, I don't know if it's fair to call them plot holes, but there are lots of little things which you're like, I don't know about that. Why this? And there are characters which really seem like they didn't have to be there, and entire scenes which seem like they didn't have to happen. And I came away feeling like I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more Luke, more active Luke as Mr. Supreme Jedi. I mean, we got to see that in some ways, but not in the way I think most of us would have liked to see it. We didn't get to see that showdown. We saw more fighting out of Luke when he was fighting against Darth Vader than we saw in this movie. I'm happy with Rey, that character, no problem, great. Finn, yep, no problem, good to go there. Leia, okay, we get to see Leia use the Force for the first time, really. I mean, let's say she's Luke's twin. She should technically have, same powers. We get to see it, but the way they gave it to us, I wasn't quite pleased with that either. Lots of little things. But I still enjoyed it, and I do, definitely want to see it again. In hindsight, you always have more things to look for. That's just the beginning of my iceberg. What did you think of it? I know you saw it as well. What did you think?
I thought it was pretty good. I went in there with an open mind because I was hoping that it wasn't going to be exactly like The Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
So I was kind of happy about that because The Force Awakens was solely like, the reboot of the first one.
A New Hope. Yeah, you're right.
A New Hope.
Sure.
I was happy about the fact that, the brooding Luke, kind of reminded us of Bruce Wayne in B versus S, Martha. Yeah. Just slightly.
I did like him throwing his lightsaber over his shoulder. That was funny.
Yes. I kind of did like that. I like the fact that, something gravely had to happen for Luke to not speak with anyone for how many years?
Right.
So you really didn't want Rey to find him and for him to be all jolly and happy and, happy-go-lucky and just like, oh, okay, you want me to train you? All right.
That part I was completely okay with.
Oh, really?
I was okay with that. They didn't have to be happy-go-lucky and all that. That's fine. I mean, like you said, he is, and then once we got more of the storyline, he did try to become the Jedi Master and the Jedi Teacher. And, we know what happened. Still trying not to give spoilers away for those who might not have seen it yet. But we find out, what happened, why he kind of abandoned that. And, his Jedi home, we saw the dark black hole. You know, there has to be a balance, light and dark. We get the introduction to that dark hole, to the dark side, but we still only got a taste of what it was, but it didn't. Again, first viewing, I felt like that was lacking somewhat. Scenes we could have done with, I could totally have done without the seal milking and or the funny fish farming. You know, grab it, kill a fish with a spear just so you can show him carrying some either CGI or rubber 50-pound fish over his shoulder so we know that that's how he eats. That's all that scene set up for us, really.
I would have loved to see a situation with Luke. You know, I mean, knowing how the ending, how it ended, I mean, it's too late for spoilers if you haven't seen it by now, but I would have loved to see him raise that X-Wing fighter out of the water.
Why show us that if you're not going to have him raise it? That made no sense. All that was to tell us what I said. Okay, so he flew here, and he put the ship under the water, and that's why he hasn't gotten off it. But we already know that you can raise an X-Wing that's been underwater, so don't care about that. Don't want to see it. Should have at least raised it. Why not let Rey leave like that? Okay, Rey, go ahead and meet Chewie and his porg, you know, somewhere else. Take your X-Wing, go. His porg, whatever he has, those things. I mean, come on.
The porgs.
Yes.
I mean, Rich, that's another reason why Disney gave George Lucas X amount of dollars, because that's a money grab right there.
Right there. Oh, isn't it though? Surprised we didn't see that many fuzzy little porgs around Christmas, even though maybe we did, and it's just not my demo anymore.
Right.
But yeah, so next year we'll see them, or we'll see them come Easter. They'll be Easter bunnies, Easter porkies. I don't know.
The scene I wasn't happy. There was a few scenes I wasn't happy with. The way Snoke went out. Andy Serkis.
Go ahead.
Andy Serkis had to get paid buku dollars, and to go out like that, I say, well, wait a minute.
Right.
What happened here?
No effing way. If there had been rumors of we got two different directors and different stories, that would have been the kind of scene where it was like, all right, well, we set all this up, and we had a storyline to go here, but you know what? I don't want to do that storyline anymore, so let's just write this off.
Right. That
was the lamest, most inexcusable death of a major villain I think I've ever seen. Because this is Snoke. He's supposed to be, again, supreme evil, supreme, Darth. Supreme, there's always got to be balance. So was this a case of, since, with the Sith, there's always got to be a master and a Padawan, if you will, and so he kills his master, thinking that Rey's going to become his apprentice, and of course he didn't. But still, I agree with you 100%. Horrible way to kill off a character. The way he did it now, just I don't buy that at all.
Are you okay with thinking that Rey and Ben Solo or Kylo Ren are brother and sister? Or not yet? Too soon?
Not yet. Too soon.
I'm just thinking.
I'm not ready to accept that. I mean, we still have to find out what her bloodline really is.
Because
we don't know.
The answer was, they were just filthy peasants.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm not going for that.
But there was a theory I saw somewhere that the collector, what's his face, the Benicio del Toro character.
Oh, another waste.
In other ways, but that he could be her father, because like you said, they were like drunkards and gamblers and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say he was a drunkard; he was obviously a gambler. So that's a theory that he's her father. But it still doesn't do anything at all for her having such strength with the Force at all, unless he as well does. And that's a story that we got to find out. But no, I say his character and that entire scene, the casino scene really didn't need to happen either. But it's a Star Wars movie. We have to have a casino. We have to have the weird music. We have to see all kinds of life forms bouncing around.
towards the end, when the big scene happened with Luke,
yes,
and the two dice,
yes, the two die.
Were you? I mean, did you feel like uncomfortable, like when you were watching it? Because I don't know about you, but I kind of felt that way. I was watching it, and I was like, what am I watching right here? He looks different.
I was okay there. I mean, are you referring to when he's being bombarded and we learned that it's not really him there, or I mean when he gives the dice to Rey at the end so she can hang in the Falcon like it was?
That part and the fact that Luke was kind of at one point he seemed like he was physical when he walked there. And him and Leia had a few words. Right. And then next thing you know, poof, Jim Neighbors. And then he's just running around, and you're like, wait a minute. What? And then Leia makes a comment about her hair. I changed my hair. And I was waiting for him to say, I changed my hair too. Where is that? Didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen. And I guess that was, that was Luke showing. Granted, he's always had the connection with Leia. That's well established. So getting inside her head to that level, okay, I can give that a little bit. But at the end, I mean, no, I don't even want to, because it's still a spoiler to say how that ended is going a bit far, I guess. But I wasn't happy with that piece of the storyline. That's where I would have rather it had been legitimate and a true display of power, and then go out voluntarily the same way Obi-Wan did. But the way they did that, was that his way of saying, all right, well, I'm going to fight, but I'm still not going to get into the fight physically. I'm going to do this all in your mind from a galaxy away, half a galaxy away.
Right.
To then just become part of the Force. No, I'm not buying it.
When he became a Force ghost.
Right. A Force ghost, yes.
you know what I kind of felt? I kind of felt like I want to see the Ben Kenobi movie when Qui-Gon goes to visit him.
Right.
And that's what I want to see.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Because, we've got to see, Luke will have to get Mark Hamill will have to get a little more money for the third movie because he has to appear as a Force ghost. So he has to be on film along with Yoda, and probably Qui-Gon too. That everyone who's become a Force ghost get to be able to get in one scene together.
Yes, that would be an awesome scene. Like there were certain things like I really liked the movie. Yep. But there were certain parts where we can pick apart this stuff, and I was just like, why are we doing this?
Yep, I agree totally. Which I guess, having just said that, I guess we're also going to get to see a Leia Force Ghost.
Well, yeah, because, huge problem. Huge problem now because there were a couple of scenes there where she could have been finished off.
Right, which would have been fine.
Fine.
At the end, let her die out there in space.
Right.
Okay, that works. We understand. Especially given the circumstances with Carrie Fisher, it would have been fine. It would have made sense. You didn't have to go through all right, let me wake up a little bit to use my Force telekinesis to pull myself back to the ship. It could have bypassed all of that. Everyone, I think, would have been happy. It totally was hokey. And you could have kept the storyline with Poe Dameron and the new Admiral because, she kind of schooled him anyway. And he learned how to be a better leader. And, it could have tractor beamed Lega's body and we could have given her a good funeral send-off as she deserves anyway. And that would have been great. But now you got to kill her next episode, early in the episode somehow, because she's not going to be there, and obviously you're not going to go that CGI crazy. And then
are you
have to show her as a Force ghost.
Are you thinking between movies? Does she die between movies?
No, I don't think they'll do that. That would be unacceptable. You can't do that.
Because
it's Leia. You kill her. You kill her in the opening scene.
Because didn't her estate say, oh, we don't want her used, or you're going to have to pay X amount of dollars? This is hypothetically. I'm not.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on it. But you would have to pay, like Disney would have to pay tons of dollars if they're going to do, like, Leia from Rogue One.
To use her likeness.
Right, to use her likeness.
I think they would.
Scary.
It wouldn't have to. It wouldn't have to be a big scene. You can open up with, an Empire attack on whatever rebel stronghold it is, and blow her up in the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, you could. And start your storyline there. After all, the rebels are always running, right? So let that be how Leia dies, and move on. Everyone, I think, would accept that anyway, because again, because given the circumstances, sure, why not? We're in uncharted ground anyway. I mean, it's all new, untold stories, so they can do anything.
What would you say if Leia shows up in the Han Solo standalone movie?
She can't, though. We kind of know that they never done that before. That would be a problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that one past you.
That would be a problem.
So here's the big test. I wanted to see Last Jedi for a second time.
Yep.
I told Nemo, I said, yo, hey, let's go see Last Jedi. And he was like, we already saw it. I said, I know. I want to see it again. He was like, no thanks.
Yeah, I can see that easily. It wasn't, it definitely was not a kid's movie. There was a lot of heady stuff going on. That's what they tried to do. I almost felt like that first half an hour, 45 minutes was for the kids, and then the rest of the movie was for the adults or the older crowd.
Right.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I saw it with my son, and I got to tell you, Rich, towards the end of the movie, when we were walking out, he was like, there's so many questions, Dad, I had to ask you.
Right.
And I'm so confused. And I was like,
he said, don't worry, son, so am I.
So am I. That's why I was going to say, hey, let's go see it again. And you can ask me as many questions as you want.
Yep.
That's what I was really looking forward to. But he told me no thank you.
I don't really care now.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Want to quickly segue from there. Hey, I saw Jumanji. I don't even want to talk about that now.
I haven't seen that yet. I want to. I kind of want to. So just tell me, should I or shouldn't I?
I saw it, as always. You know me, super cheapskate. In the matinee.
Matinee. That's the best way to go.
Matinee. This one was $7.
Okay, that's still good. That's half price.
Yeah. I don't understand the Kevin Hart part.
Okay.
It seemed like it was just thrown in there and maybe it's because I went there with my son. Kevin Hart, he was kind of inappropriate in the movie.
Okay.
He was kind of inappropriate. Just some of the things he was saying, and you're just like, come on, Kevin Hart. This is not one of your R-rated movies. This is something that's going to make you tons of money.
Right?
Yeah, tons of money. I saw it, kind of enjoyed it, but his piece just had me questioning a lot of things.
Okay.
But I would say to you, if you're going to see it, I say see it as a matinee.
Got it.
And enjoy yourself. Spend the $15 on the tickets, and then you and Linda can spend $50 on the popcorn.
Yep. and $20 on a supersized 2-gallon Diet Coke.
Yes. hey, there's all this talk about Apple slowing things down and batteries and all this other stuff. This is stuff that we knew about. Did we know about this stuff?
We've been saying, I mean, it was always like the running joke, right? Like, oh, okay, well, Apple's going to slow your phone down just to force you to get the new version next year.
Right.
As soon as they release a new one, everyone will start saying, my phone's running slow, my phone's running slow. Yeah, it's only a year old, but it's starting to run slow. Uh-huh. That's always the running joke. And look what the cat dragged in. Apple busted to the point where it's like, okay, if you have an iPhone 6 or newer, we'll give you a battery for $29. I mean, but here's what I'm saying. What other major company could get away with this crap the way it seems like they're going to get away with it?
Yeah, sad.
If this had been, I mean, granted, they lost that battle, but if this had been a Microsoft phone and a Microsoft guided mission, oh my, the noise, the screaming, the yelling we would have heard, it would have been off the charts. But no, it's Apple, so we're going to say, all right, well, okay, thanks. Sell me a new battery for $30, and I'll buy my new $1,000 phone next year instead.
So
no,
wait,
not happening.
I got to stop you. So it's going to cost us $30, and then
yes.
So who's putting the battery in?
That looks like it's Apple. You can take it to the Apple store from what I'm seeing and have heard, because that's only come out like the last 2 days.
Right.
But it'll happen at Apple. They'll open your phone for you, new battery. And
so all those people over the years that were like, hey, after I charge my phone, my battery dies within 15 minutes.
Right.
Really?
There's got to be a lawsuit coming from this. I can't see how.
Class action, Rich.
Big class action lawsuit. And because everyone and their mother has bought an iPhone at some point in time,
yes,
everyone's going to get $1.
Yes. I want to share this with you. I don't know why I did it. I would never do it for myself. I bought the iPhone 10.
But wait, you said you didn't do it for yourself. Who did you do it for?
Did it for Nyla.
When I grow up, will you be my daddy?
I said to her, I said, man, I wish I had a Ted Hicks in my life.
I tell you, I need a Ted Hicks in my life. Nyla gets a 10.
She got a 10. X. We're sitting there at the Verizon store. Not Apple, not Best Buy. Right at the Verizon store. She got a 10. I was trying to talk her into the 8 or the 8 Plus. And she was just like, oh, what about this? And I was like, oh, my God.
But you know what? I'll say Nala is a good student. From all the standing reports, she's a good girl. Does what she's supposed to do. I never hear you complaining about Nala.
Nah, it's the other one.
And I never hear you saying, oh, she broke another phone and another phone and iPad.
So here's the trick. The trick is this, Rich. Got the 10. I pulled up. She had a 6 Plus.
Right.
$285. You can trade it in. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Get it to the store. Store tells me, oh, there's some problems with the pixels. We'll give you a 105.
Oh, get out of here.
And I said, you know what?
Switch.
Yeah. Go kick rocks.
There's problems with the pixels. No.
The problem with the pixels. Some dead pixels. I said, oh, really? I said, so if they're telling me this is going to be $285 and you guys are telling me $105, I'm like, you know what? No, thank you.
Yep. At that point, keep it so that when Nemo breaks his next one, when he gets one,
right.
Have a spare. You got a backup.
Spare is sitting right here. It's painful.
But you know what you should do?
Yes.
Go get a new battery for that spare for $29.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't even think about it. Rich, what type of iPhone do you have?
Well, the one I have is company provided. That's a 7.
That's a 7.
Yeah.
Rich, I still have my SE.
That was a great phone.
The SE is a great phone, and guess what? I got it twice.
You upgraded from an SE to an SE?
I upgraded from a 5S to SE, and then I got an SE. And spent, I think, like 99 cents.
Right.
99 cents, my friend.
Yep. It's a great phone. Nothing to complain about there at all.
No problems with the battery. No problems at all.
We'll continue to use it. Now, that won't be covered under the battery gate, as we'll call it, I guess.
Oh, well?
No, 6 is and above.
I didn't even know that. All right. Have a few questions for you because you represent a wonderful demographic that we cover. I don't cover it. I mean, I don't represent. I mean, someday, maybe one day you'll take me out to the range.
Anytime.
I'm
calling you.
Put in the request for the introduction to the world of firearms for children. It was written to plant the seeds of safe gun ownership in the minds of young patriots who will one day be responsible gun owners like the parents who teach them. I don't own a gun. It's up to the moms and dads of this country who exercise their Second Amendment rights to instill the deep respect for firearms. Within your Twitter handle, I see that #, or it's a hashtag now, 2A.
Hashtag 2A. 2A supporter. Okay. Absolutely. That statement, I know that was a blurb from, I guess, the publisher or the author.
Yes.
And that's a common sense. Well, you know what? I have to take a step back, of course. So you and I live in New York.
Yes.
Blue State. Blue State, one of the strictest, not the strictest, but one of the more stricter Second Amendment or firearms-related states in the Union. So what we have to do in order to, and I'll speak on pistols specifically, what a New Yorker has to do, a downstate New Yorker, New York City, Long Island, Suffolk County, Nassau County, to get a pistol is not what the majority of the country has to do. It's, if we want to get one, of course, you have to do like everyone around the country has to do. You have to get an FBI background check. That's something you have to do everywhere. But we also have to go through interviews and face-to-face interviews and many more forms depending upon your district, the county. If you move to, we'll say, Virginia, you go to the store, firearms store, which they're all over the place. You pick one, they do your FBI check. You can leave with it right then and there. You can do mail order, pistol an FBI check by the seller. You can be sent to your home. Doesn't have to go through a dealer. It's much more strict in New York. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's just a statement about how it is. But sure, for anyone, any parent who is going to have a weapon in the house, you do have to really, really follow strict guidelines for the safety of your child, your family, your neighbors, your children's friends, if they're at an age where you might have, they might have kids coming over. A lot of places will just, a lot of people, a lot of countries, a lot of states rather, will leave firearms just literally laying around, maybe fully loaded in plain view where anyone can grab. And it's a normal way of life in certain areas. It's not like that, of course, in our area. For whatever reason, there's maybe more fear of firearms, justifiably so in some cases. But to go back to what the question is, parents have to teach their children, and they have to learn that it is not a toy. It is nothing like what you see on TV. It's nothing like what happens where, someone picks up a gun and bang, bang, and shoots someone, and then, either it's like a game and they get back up after the game resets, or that they can't, do complete, serious, deadly, lethal damage to themselves or their friends. It is the parents' responsibility to store the weapons and to teach their children about the safety.
I mean, this is always helpful because this is, I mean, you know what, Rich? This is your sweet spot. This is a few others that have come on the show to talk about the NRA, and we've talked about, being African American and an NRA member, being a card carrying.
Card carrying NRA member.
Yeah, it's. But and at the same time, every time we see, it's everything is politicized nowadays. Not nowadays, it's been forever. But whenever there's a shooting, whether it's in the church or in Vegas, you got the people, you got the Dems saying their piece. Mm-hmm. When there's an issue with, I'm going to get off on a tangent a little bit, with, let's say if the person's a Muslim or,
right.
Then you find out from the GOP, they have their say. But being card-carrying member, this is stuff that. How long have you been a member of the NRA?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years. I joined when I got my first pistol. As a matter of fact, because you get on mailing lists. I read about it, did some research. It's like, all right, I'll join. It's not a super expense. And if anything, they do rally, and that's that is their purpose in life to ensure people's right to carry. You don't have to force anyone to do it. If someone doesn't want to have a weapon in their home, please don't. That's your right to say no. You don't want to. I do think that as a New Yorker, and yes, I'm the Republican in the House too, but I'm not bright crimson red. I'm more of a purple. There's blue mixed in with my red. The NRA will say, sure, anyone and everyone should have a gun, and I'm not going to agree with that. Maybe it's because I am a New Yorker, and I really don't care if I have to go through a background check, and I don't care if they want to do an investigation because I know I'm clean, and I don't care if they want to interview me because I can speak and I can talk to anyone, and went through all those things, and was able to get licensed. I have no problem with gun registration. I feel that if a person has weapons, and I don't think the police have to be called to said person's home. The police should be able to know what they could be walking into. Totally fair. But I also feel sure if a person, passes those background checks and all the whatever requirements, realistic requirements set forth, that then they should be able to arm themselves. That's their right. Don't force it, but they should be able to. But the NRA will debate that piece of thing. That's the purple side of things. But when it comes to kids, some of those questions are like, how do you know when it's the right time to teach your child about it?
Right.
A lot of that, you have to start teaching them. I would say, and again, I'm no professional at this at all, but you would have to start teaching them when they're at an age that it can be understood. If you've got toddlers around the house, it's got to stay locked. It's got to be so that no way that this child can, accidentally discover it and get to it. There are certain rules, toddlers.
So I got to jump in here. Does it have to be in a safe? Does it have to be just in a locked case?
That's if you would ask me, I'd say sure. The safe in a safe is the safest place, of course. Something with a combination, or they have the safes that can read your fingerprint. If you want to make it a little quicker to get to. But yeah, you've got to lock it up so a child just can't get to it. small children. When you get to older kids, I know what I did. My youngest was about 13 at the time. I showed all of them to him. When a guy was like, "This is it," make sure it's unloaded the whole 9 yards. Let him see it. Let him hold it. I was of the opinion of reduce the mystery. Don't let me find it to look at it, because that's definitely more dangerous. You have to teach the respect for it. And then, it's like, all right, go to the range, right? Yeah, shoot it. This is what it's like. Now you know. No more questions. Are you good? Okay. No problem. Now, there are one of the other questions I saw asking what some of the craziest gun rules are today. And this is in no way meant to be a politicized rant of any case, but craziest gun rule here in New York. Again, I'm licensed, fully legitimate owner. If I was to take any of my children now, regardless of age, but let's say I took my 25-year-old to the range with me, and I wanted to teach him how to shoot, I can't let him hold the weapon at the range to fire it because he doesn't have a license.
Okay.
That, I think, is crazy. I mean, if I'm with my son, I'm not saying take a stranger. I'm not saying that I'm purporting to be an instructor. But I'm taking my son or daughter to the range to teach them how to shoot my personally owned weapon. I can't let them hold it to shoot because of violation. They're not a licensed gun owner. That's a violation. That's a crazy gun law, in my opinion. But going back to the children, personal opinion. When they're older, release the mystery. Let them see it, hold it in the proper area, use it if it's appropriate, at the range, lose the mystery, and then still keep it locked up, but you have a little less to worry about. But in all cases, almost, until either they're out or, really, really older at that point, I say you keep it locked.
To tell me, people like myself, we're so ignorant when it comes to firearms. We're like, firearms are evil, firearms are bad. People are also bad. People do bad things. When you put a combination of that evil person and that firearm that doesn't get handled, you never know what's going to happen.
I think you're on to it more with it's the people doing bad things. I'm going to sound but it's true. It's like anything else, it is a tool. Granted, it has a very specific purpose to do, sure, you say pure sporting, and sporting is a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun at the range shooting paper. But, it's a tool like anything else. But it's the people who have the wrong intent to use the tool improperly that are the problem. Now, the question is, you have, like the issue that we have, people getting guns much more easily, or many times stealing them, but getting them more easily in other states where they don't have to go through as much, and then getting them up the East Coast, because Virginia was one of those states that was famous for its gun trade. Get it to the East Coast, sell it. Now, that's an illegal sale, so you can't go back and say there's a loophole thing or anything like that. It's illegal sales on the streets, and then the guns get used in crime. It's from top to bottom, that's an illegal transaction. It's not like someone could say, well, make more laws to make that more difficult. No, because it doesn't make a difference, because the criminal is a criminal in the breaking the law. The criminal is not going to respect the law regardless. So in many cases, you put those laws into place, and they just make it harder for the legitimate homeowner, sportsman, person who wants to protect themselves, who just wants to have a weapon. You make it harder for them to get it. And I can't, don't necessarily agree with that. But you have to respect it, because, again, it is very easy. You hear all the time people accidentally shoot themselves cleaning weapons at home. You have to respect the weapon. And whenever you're holding it and getting near it, you have to respect it, because accidents, unfortunately, do happen. And, again, an accident is just that. It's an accident. You can't outlaw an accident either.
So the factors into the gun safety, at what age can some of our youth begin taking classes or becoming, familiar with hey, how do I clean a gun? How do I do this? How do I do that? Is this stuff sanctioned? Is it really more through mom and dad, or is it because of the state that we're in, stuff like this isn't offered?
It's that second statement is dead on. It's because of the statement that we're in is why it's not offered. There are other states where high school they're taught gun safety. They're taught the basics because especially long arms. I'm still kind of focusing on pistols. When you start talking rifles, everyone has a rifle when you get out of New York or you get out of L.A. There's a rifle in the house. There's a shotgun in the house. There's a hunting rifle in the house. There's a small caliber blinking little .22 rifle in the house. Everyone's grandfather, father, they're there. So it's not like it's seen more purely as a tool when you get out of the urban areas. So that safety is taught. I mean, the NRA does offer classes. You can also, I kind of hate to say it, but there is, along with the bad, there's the good, or not necessarily for kids, but for the adults who are interested. There's a lot of information on YouTube. That there is some valid information there about cleaning your gun. The best place to go, of course, is the manufacturer, because they tell you all of that information when you purchase it. It's all available to you. But yeah, for the youth and for parents, I would definitely say, a parent shouldn't even think about bringing it to their children until they are fully versed in the process, until they know the proper and safe ways to handle it, to clean it, to strip it down. There's a lot more to it than just getting out a rag and shining it up. You have to break a weapon down to properly clean it, and you need to know how to do so properly and effectively and safely. But yeah, it's more because of where we are. Let's face it, when you're in New York, you don't hear, like urban New York, I'm not talking upstate, you don't hear so much about the guy who goes out hunting and, grabs a big deer and brings it home and now they've got meat in the freezer for the winter. No, you hear about weapons more because, they've taken someone's life or hurt someone. So that builds that more of a negative stigma around it for urban areas. And especially for let's face it, people of color. It seems like for good or ill or accurate or not accurate that, more of those crimes seem or get advertised or publicized as happening in our neighborhoods. So we hear more of the negatives about guns and by gun violence than that gets put out around other areas.
Yeah, it's usually, and I don't want to sound like sour grapes, Rich, but it's usually something happens, and if it's, black on black,
right,
or if it's something that's, the NRA is only going to say certain things at certain times.
Correct. And
they're not going,
I would say I would agree. That's a fault that they have. They don't get fully vocal on protecting someone's right when they're of a certain color, it seems, or not of a color, or than they do at other times. That they have been guilty of that. But also on the same token, they have been very supportive at other times. There was a case, it was about 2 years ago now, a woman coming through New Jersey who was a licensed weapon holder in, I believe it was Pennsylvania. I could be wrong on the state, but she was coming through New Jersey, fully licensed and everything. Had the vehicle on her person. She got pulled over in Jersey and let the officer who was pulling over know that she had her licensed firearm with her because she was in New Jersey and it was not a Jersey license. And I'll interrupt myself and say she was at fault because she should have known the laws where she was traveling to. So she's at fault there, but she wasn't doing wrong per se, but she was at fault. But she got arrested and put in jail with a legal licensed weapon, and she had no intent of doing anything wrong with it. She was just traveling through. The NRA did go to bat for her, providing legal assistance and money, and woman of color who this happened to, and got her out and got the charges actually, if not dropped, completely lessened at the time. So they will go to bat on all sides. But you are completely right and valid, and I've seen it as well. They do seem to get quieter in certain circumstances than others.
Oh yeah, and I mean, and with the laws going back and forth, but we think about Philando Castile and not a thing is mentioned. And the only other thing I want to bring up to you is the NRA is so deep into the GOP's pockets.
Yes.
That's
where the votes are. That's where the votes. That's the votes are there. With the flyover states, the people care about them. That will drive elections, and we know, and we've seen it. So they figure and play that right game. Get in their pockets, get the people to support them, and those members of the electorate who are getting NRA support, well, then they'll get the people's votes. They're playing that game properly.
I mean, I like to think both sides play that game. Change the subject, and we'll close out with this. The reddest of red states, Alabama, has a Dem as a senator.
Thank goodness.
And I think that's partially because of, the other guy was a molester, and he was a horrible candidate.
And he barely lost.
And he barely lost, Rich.
And even as of today, I think he's putting in some kind of lawsuit or appeal, to question.
Yeah, he's a sore loser.
Of the election. Yeah, and let's say he lost by like 20,000 votes.
Right.
It's over. It's done, and that's that. And that was, and again, as a Republican in the room, I was happy to see that because that guy, there's no way that guy should have won.
No, but it was close, Rich. And it wasn't until the black vote was energized, and you had to have every black politician out there shucking and jiving,
Yep.
Barkley included. He's eventually going to run for something, Rich, in Alabama.
You're probably right.
And everyone talks about 98% of the black vote of women, 93% of men. But what did that tell you? All the other folks of the other persuasion were like, hey, Roy Jones is our guy. We don't care if he's likes little girls.
Right.
I don't know. I just think as it's getting crazier and crazier. When we come back in the new year, we'll talk about our taxes being because, hey, you think about it. We're in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, California.
Mm-hmm. We're
going to be looking at this tax bill.
That $10,000, yep, for the rest of the country. That's like, wow, I don't pay anywhere near that. Yeah, you do not have to have a mansion to have $10,000 in annual taxes. Let me tell you.
Right. And
Talk shoes. Recorded live.